This is Molly Hemingway, encouraging you to listen to my favorite podcast, Issues, Etc. Every day you get in-depth interviews with host Todd Wilkin asking expert guests substantive, thought-provoking questions on all of the important news and issues of our day. The expert guests are in culture, law, ethics, philosophy, theology, and apologetics. Expert guests, expansive topics, always extolling Christ. Issues, etc.
Well, the Southern Poverty Law Center has been much in the news. There are charges from the Department of Justice of fraud, in particular bank fraud, how they were funding the very groups they claimed to have been targeting and fighting against. And there are even more connections between the SPLC and some of these genuine hate groups. But they also have a hate list, a hate map, actually. And some of the organizations that are on there are not hate groups. They're just ordinary Christian groups. Welcome back to Issues, Etc. I'm Todd Wilkin. Joining us to talk about the Southern Poverty and Law's hate map, Austin Ruse. He's president of CFAM, a nonpartisan nonprofit research institute that monitors and affects the social policy debate at the United Nations. He's author of a recent column for The Federalist titled "The Corrupt SPLC Put Me on Their Hate Map, and I'm Still Paying for It." Austin, welcome back.
I'm delighted to be with you, Todd. How are you?
Very well. How and why did an organization that was originally dedicated to combat racism make the leap into gender ideology?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that racism has dropped off a cliff in the United States of America. You know, the KKK and cross burning and all that kind of stuff went away. And they needed somehow to begin filling their coffers by scaring the pants off of left-wingers. And so they came up with LGBT issues. And that has been very profitable for them because since they've been doing that, they've gone from $50 million in the bank to $100 million in the bank and so on and so forth. So it's been very profitable for them.
What is the SPLC's hate map?
Well, they have a hate list, and it encompasses, so-called racist groups and all that kind of stuff, and also Christian groups who may oppose gender ideology and homosexuality and all that kind of stuff. And so they have a list, and each of the organizations where they exist, it shows up on a map. So if you click on their map, it's a searchable map, and you can see where all those nasty hate groups have offices and therefore can be targeted.
So go into a little more detail. What kind of organizations are on the hate map?
Well, I mean, there's neo-Nazi groups, KKK groups. They divide it a number of different ways, but let's focus on the LGBT stuff. They are organizations that oppose the homosexual agenda, who either oppose homosexual marriage or the normalization of homosexuality or transgenderism or whatever. So broadly speaking, those are the kind of groups that are on that part of the list. That includes my organization, CFAM. It includes the Family Research Council. It includes Alliance Defending Freedom and Moms for Liberty and a whole lot of very good groups.
So how do you qualify for a place on, because your organization's on there too, how do you qualify for a place on the SPLC's hate map?
They say that in order to qualify to land on there as an anti-LGBT hate group is you have to, how do they put this, attack LGBTs for their immutable and unchanging characteristics. I mean, the fallacy right there is built into the definition because homosexuality is not inborn and immutable. It is indeed changeable. But that's their broad category. We landed on the list in 2013 because we answered a question from the people and the government of Belize. And the question was, is there an international treaty obligation with regard to sodomy? They had laws against sodomy, as we did in the United States until the Lawrence v. Texas decision. And they were under pressure by international groups of lawyers and judges to change their domestic laws on sodomy. And these lawyers and judges were claiming that they had an international obligation under treaty law to change their laws. So we were asked, because this is our expertise, is there such a treaty? Our answer, no. There is no such treaty. Sexual orientation and gender identity is not mentioned in any international human rights treaty. Sodomy is not mentioned in an international human rights treaty. And so therefore the answer is no. For this reason, we landed on the SPLC hate list.
Tell us about the map's manager, Heidi Byrick.
Heidi, I've never met her. In the report that she wrote about us that landed us on the hate list, she claimed that she reached out to us with questions, which is a lie. She never did. I don't know much about her, except she's a radical leftist who has a genuine hatred for Christian organizations that are in the public square. She's been in charge of the hate map since, I guess, the aughts, and has been writing their annual reports and special reports and things like that. So, yeah, that's as much as I know about Heidi. She's not there anymore. There was a general culling of their staff a couple of years ago, and she was one of the ones that went. But that's pretty much all I know about her. I've never met her, never spoken to her. She's just a frothy leftist.
How would you summarize the fraud and other legal charges that are coming from the Department of Justice against the SPLC?
Well, they are being charged first and foremost with defrauding banks because they set up phony businesses in order to funnel donor money through these businesses to give to people who were members of and or running racist, genuine hate groups like the KKK and the neo-Nazis. So the central complaint against them is that they defrauded banks, which is a federal crime.
What effect did being on the hate map have on you and your organization?
Well, it's something that's going to follow me until the grave. I mean, it may end up on my tombstone. It's just something that follows you around. I'm personally not on the hate map. My organization is on the hate map, but as the president of the organization, of course, I'm smeared with that designation. So yeah, CFAM is known as an anti-LGBT hate group. This is on my Wikipedia page. This is on CFAM's Wikipedia page. When people on the left write stories about us, that's front and center, anti-LGBT hate group. So it's been very damaging in terms of reputation. There are two known instances that have hurt us financially, and that is that, I don't know how much this really would have hurt us financially. There was a program at Amazon called the Smile Program, where a portion of your purchase could go to a designated nonprofit. And we were excluded from that program because we're on the SPLC hate list. Additionally, Fidelity Donor Advised Funds called me, a decade ago and said that because we're on the hate list, they would no longer mask donors from their funds. The reason that people do donor advised funds is so they can give anonymously. And so they said people through Fidelity Donor Advised Funds will no longer be able to give anonymously to you. The practical effect of that is that donor A might think, I don't want to give through donor advised funds to CFAM because then we will be announced as funding a hate group. Those funds are supposed to be anonymous. That's the purpose of them. So Fidelity said that they were no longer going to allow that. There could be many more. There could be foundations that wanted to give to us. And then just a second of research shows that we've been designated by SPLC as a hate list. So, we will not know in this lifetime the effect that this smear had on my organization and myself.
So, bottom line, why was the SPLC hate map created in the first place?
It's clever marketing. Hats off to them. I mean, it's like the flip side of the Human Rights Campaign list of corporations who bow down to the LGBT movement. The idea is that you want to help your friends and hurt your enemies. And so the hate list was created in order to hurt SPL's enemies. As a matter of fact, Heidi's boss, Mark Potok, gave a speech to donors now many years ago. It's still available online. I linked to it in my Federalist piece, in which he told the donors, we are really in business to destroy our political opponents. That's the reason for the hate map.
Austin Ruse is president of CFAM, a nonpartisan nonprofit research institution that monitors and affects the social policy debate at the United Nations. He's author of a recent column for the Federalist titled The Corrupt SPLC Put Me on Their Hate Map, and I'm Still Paying for It. You'll find a link to it and to CFAM on the podcast page for this episode at issuesetc.org. Austin, thanks.
Many thanks.
In Hour 2 of Issues, Etc., Pastor Will Whedon joins us for Part 2 of our series on the sevenfold graces of the Spirit in Isaiah chapter 11.
Listen weekday afternoons to Pastor Todd Wilken and guests on Issues Etc. Issues Etc. is a listener-supported program. Your financial support is vital for the continuation and expansion of this worldwide outreach. Our mailing address, Issues Etc., P.O. Box 83, Collinsville, Illinois, 62234. Box 83, Collinsville, Illinois, 62234. You can also donate at our website, issuesetc.org. Issues Etc. is a production of LPR, Lutheran Public Radio.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jay Krause, principal at Metro East Lutheran High School in Edwardsville, Illinois. Metro East Lutheran High School engages young adults in a Christ-centered environment, delivering academic excellence and spiritual growth to develop Christian leaders for tomorrow. We provide a Christ-centered alternative to public high schools. We're currently enrolling students for the 2026-2027 school year. Learn more at melhs.org, melhs.org.
Your church service, sanctuary, and congregation are all unique, so why settle for low-quality recordings when your organist is unavailable? The substitute organist service from Church Music Solutions is genuine organ leadership using your instrument with your specific selections when you need it. Log on to churchmusicsolutions.com and request a free demo kit to allow you and your members to use the substitute organist service without obligation and without a sales pitch. Keep singing with Church Music Solutions.